Hi guys, it's Bill again, and I'm so excited because like the holidays are almost here, and so I was trying to think of something. And I want to give everyone plenty of like time to figure it out, but you know, I like making cookies at Christmas time, well, the holidays, because it starts like Thanksgiving, actually maybe Halloween I start making them. But one of my favorite all-time cookies, and I don't make them very often, and I don't know why, I guess because we all think about iced sugar cookies or spritz cookies. So I told myself, I'm going to make molasses cookies. And I think I really fell in love with them years ago because there's a company that makes these wonderful molasses cookies, probably the best I've ever had. It's really hard for me to confess, they might be better than mine, but it got me kind of thinking about it, and like things, you know, they cost too much to buy and have shipped because they charge a lot for shipping. So I'm like, okay, it's time to get the mixer out. I'm going to show you how you make really good molasses cookies. It's not tough. So I was also thinking, because a friend of mine sent me a picture of her making cookies with her two kids, and they're just having a great time. She's like, yeah, you know, and as a matter of fact, they were like M&M cookies, and let me tell you, they looked really good. So, and of course, you need to send me some of those so I can try them. But you know, and I was like, so I think people, you know, a lot of people, I get a lot of comments about it, and they really want to try, and sometimes they're not real confident in their cooking skills. And one of the things is that one of the common questions, especially in the beginning when you try and get everyone kind of started in on this, is how do I get my kids really interested? So depending on their age and how much they want to participate is, you know, a big factor. So if you're concerned that they're not going to be able to really want to sit through the whole process, basically do like I do. I have everything pre-measured, so you go in the kitchen, you get everything measured up, and you're like, okay, come on kids, so they get the fun part. Actually, this recipe, before I forget, is once we get it all mixed up, we're going to put it on a sheet of plastic, roll it up airtight, and it's got to be refrigerated for at least an hour. If you refrigerate it longer, which you can up to a couple days, just make sure you get it out ahead of time. So if you would rather that route that, you know, they just see it coming out of the refrigerator and, you know, getting their hands dirty with it, that's fine too. So, you know, this is something you're going to learn. But anyway, back to my recipe. So, like always, we got wet and dry. I got my dry ingredients here. So I have 2 1/4 cups of flour, 1½ teaspoons of baking soda, 2 teaspoons of ground ginger. I have 1½ teaspoons of cinnamon, 1/4 teaspoon of ground cloves, 1/2 teaspoon of nutmeg, and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. I know it's really confusing, but as you all know, at the end of the video, I show all the amounts. Funny, I got asked about that not too long ago. One of my friends, they're like, well, I would never give away my recipes. I'm like, well, that's like part of it. Like, you can't just tell someone this is how you make stuff. I mean, if you really want people to try your stuff, you're going to give them the recipe, right? I mean, let's not be stupid. So anyway, old trick. I know you've seen this before. I've got all these dry ingredients, and I'm just going to take my chopstick, my famous chopstick. And the really cool thing, it's like when you have something you're mixing into the flour that's a different color, it really lets you know when you've done a good job of mixing. I will say, I went to the store and got a new bag of flour because I was like, oh, you know, to me when you're baking you need to make sure all the ingredients are really fresh, because I've had flops when I try to use older stuff. And, you know, even though the price was higher, the flour wasn't quite as good, so we're really going to have to mix it. Now I do have a sifter, which I could cheat and use, but this is going to be an experiment. Can I really make the cookies with clumpy flour or not? I think so. So that's my goal for today. So I've got all this consistent coloration in here, so I know I've mixed it up well. Chopstick is wiped off. Put back save it for another recipe. And that's all I use this for. I mean, it sits in my drawer. It's literally just for mixing dry ingredients, flour, whatever. All right, so now I'm gonna set that aside. So now we got the darn other stuff here, right? So I have 3/4 cup, which is 1.5 sticks of butter. Doesn't that just make it sound all better? And I've had it, it's room temperature, so now you've seen me do this before. I'm gonna cream it up here a little bit. So we just need to get a little creamed up there. Okay, so now what I'm going to mix in, I have 1/4 cup of white sugar and 1/2 cup of brown sugar. Now, I don't know if you've ever worked with brown sugar, it's kind of sticky and kind of almost wet. So we always measure that by packing it into the measuring cup. So it comes out just like this, nice little, like you're making a sandcastle. That's what we got to do. And if you notice, I put the regular sugar underneath because guess what? I don't want the brown sugar sticking in the bowl because I'm smart. Okay. So let me see if I can be smart enough to get it in here. Okay. So remember, that's 1/2 sticks of butter, 1/2 cup of brown sugar, 1/4 cup of sugar. White sugar. So now, we're going to give this about 2 minutes to get everything nice and mixed together. There should be Christmas music playing in the background, but that's another story. All right, so this actually mixed together pretty good. Just checking. Yeah, I've got a nice cream, good consistency. All right, so here's the thing that's probably hard to do. Molasses, okay? You want to use some good unsulfured molasses. They make different brands. This was, I think, on sale or something. That's why I bought it. And I had to buy fresh because guess what? I think I had one in there that was like, 12 years old. All right, so I need 1/4 cup. Now, so I don't know if to call this a liquid or not, but I can't use a measuring cup because really what I want to do is I want to fill a dry measuring cup instead of a liquid measuring cup. I know I always say never do, that's not how you're supposed to do it, but I also know that this does kind of funky. So the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to kind of pour it, and because I won't be able to get it all out, we're just going to fill it till it overruns a little bit, and we're just going to dump it. Yeah, it's like watching the grass grow. Yeah, I don't know what else I'd really use this stuff for. I'm trying to remember if I think so. My grandma used to make mincemeat pie. That's what you use it. All right, so now I got a little spatula because we're just getting down to the end. And if your kids are misbehaving when you're making cookies together, tell them they have to drink that stuff. That'll shut them up. wonder if you can put it in your martini. Oh. Alright, let me get rid of my mess. I have to steal a piece of towel here. Because we're running down the side. Ooh, sticky, sticky mess. Alright, now we got the bottle all cleaned up. Let me put that aside now. Alright, so I got my quarter cup molasses. And I'm going to mix this in, incorporate it, as they say. Start off nice and slow. Now this is actually, at this point, I need to scrape the bowl a little bit. I'm actually going to take it out so we can make this a lot easier. I want to get the beater cleaned up here a little bit. And I don't care about really getting down into it because it's going to, as we put the dry ingredient, it's going to climb up the beater. What I want to really do is, I just want to take this, get this bowl nice and scraped down. And I could tell because the molasses wasn't mixing in real well. So, just want to make sure that everything's scraped down on the sides and on the bottom. Got to clean up the spatula. And it's, everything's room temperature, so it's really easy to work with all this stuff. Alright, so we're making cookies, right? So I need an egg. And, little things like when you got the kids out and you don't want a dozen eggs sitting on the counter in case they knock them off, put it on something. Plastic bowls, if your kids are little, if you want. And then they also have something they want to crack it on, that's fine. Nothing special about throwing an egg in there. And I need a tablespoon of vanilla. Vanilla's great stuff. Alright, I'm going to mix this up a little bit. Wasn't that simple? Alright, so what do we have to do next? I've got my dry ingredients. And just drop this down a little bit. I'm probably going to put like half in, just mix it up a little bit and put the rest in. We'll see how it comes out here. Remember, when you're incorporating dry ingredients, you got a big puddle there, you want to make sure you start off easy so you don't get a big plume of flour. Really starting to smell good, I must tell you. It's like, it smells like grandma's house. Alright. Oops. Break it. Thumb slip. Okay. Yeah, be careful when you got your thumb on the throttle there. I wish you could smell this. This is exactly how it's supposed to smell. Take my word for it. So now we have some really good consistency here. We're going to do a little scrape up, but I mean basically, yeah, I mean it's exactly what we want. I think cookies like this also, they're less kind of fussy, you know, and you're making cutouts and icing them, you know, you overcook them a little bit and they're brown, nobody wants to eat them. Different sizes take different amounts of times in the oven. It's just, you know, you're always working the extra dough after you know, do the cutouts. I should probably do a show about that, because you know what you want to do is you want to lay out your cutters, have spare cutters and lay them out so that you're kind of designing how to use the least amount of waste, because it all goes mixed back in and gets warm, so you have to refrigerate it again. I mean, it's still fun, don't get me wrong, I still do that. But I thought this would be a good change. And you don't have to be this exact, it's just my personality. Yep. I love to make sure that I get every last trip. Because you know what happens? You may start baking the cookies, all of a sudden you're out of dough and you're like, oh my gosh, I should have made a double batch. Or I shouldn't let the kids eat the darn beater. And speaking of that, lots of times when I do make cookies, I make like double, triple, quadruple batches. But it's a real mess to do. So I wanted to start you off with this. And what I want to do now, get this out of my way. Got me a big old piece of plastic. I practice that a lot. Because this dough is really wet, and anybody will tell you lots of these kind of cookies, you really need to get them refrigerated. And this is probably one of the few times I really like having this French spatula, because it's got a nice curve to it. Fits the bottom of the bowl, so we can not stick to that. Doesn't that look appetizing? Oof. So like I said, if your kids just really want to play with the dough at the end, you could have this already done in the refrigerator. And then they can play with this mess. You can see it's nice and consistent, and really that's because it is such a wet dough. When you make drier doughs, you got to be much more careful about how you incorporate, because everything has to really incorporate, but this stuff mixes up really easy. You know, the hardest part is getting everything ready, because once you mix it together, you're all set. Alright, so what do I do now? The magic of plastic. So you can see it's really soft. So we're going to refrigerate it for an hour, and then I'm going to bring it out here and I'm going to show you how we're going to ball it up and bake it and have the best cookies ever. So we're going to be right back as soon as I'm ready to get this stuff together. It's going to take me like 3 hours to clean the kitchen. So, alright, see you later. Alright, so I got my cookie dough, it chilled out, got really nice and firm. I got it out. This is the experiment, just like when you're doing refrigerator cookies, you know, or pressed out, you know, cookie cutter cookies, cookie cutter cookies. That's what it is. So we're gonna check it out here, and basically what they want you to do is make a kind of a ball of dough with a spoon. And then I got a plate, and it just has sugar in it. Alright? And yes, this is going to be messy, but fun. I don't want to make these huge. I don't want to spend any time in my hand, because as soon as they start to warm up, they're going to change their consistency. So I'm going to kind of diligently work here. Too small, add a little more. You could use like a cookie scoop if you wanted to. I just think using a regular spoon is probably good enough. I'm cutting these short. I make cookies all day if I make them this small. So the one thing that you do have to do, I'm not a big fan of having stuff that I don't use very often, but over the years I've acquired a bunch of stuff, thank goodness, is you need a silicone baking sheet. It's probably one of the drawbacks. If you're daring, you could use, you know, parchment paper. That might work. I'm not sure though. I think I'd really go for the silicone. That's the kind of stuff that I cruise around, find the best sale. I've had these for a while, and actually they came from that Red Dot store. want to get these rolled around. And we want to space them out because obviously we don't want them all cooking into each other. Keep your sugar handy. I got my handy little canister right here because you're probably going to need more as you go. So I'm going to be daring and put 3 across, but then I'm going to space them out further this way, so we'll see. If you got one that's a little bigger, maybe you need to put it next to one that's a little smaller. Just want to kind of give you the idea. So basically, that's all there is to it. I'm going to finish up this baking sheet, get them in the oven, and when I see you back, I'm going to have a tray of really nice fresh cookies. So 350 oven, it's already on, and we're going to see you back in about 12 minutes. Okay, so I'm waiting for the bell to go. Let me go grab these. These are beautiful, nice and poofy, and what we want to see is they just started to crack. I got a little carried away, and yes, they did kind of stick together a little bit there, but that's okay. They taste just as good. Now what I want to do with these are nice and hot is I'm just going to put a little sprinkle of sugar on top. It smells so good. Just a pinch. Get them right out of the oven. And then what we need to do is we're going to let them kind of settle down. They're going to crack a little bit. That sweet sugar topping on there. To me, this is like decorating. You could use colored sugar if you really want to. Alright, so I just need to set these aside. They need to sit for 5 minutes. Look, so 5 minutes later, this is what you have. And we're going to see how well this works. Can't wait. That's a perfect cookie. Oh. The smell. And you know, the real ugly ones you just, don't put out for your guests, you just eat them yourself. So it all came out right about the right size. Like I said, this dough is a little fickle. If it starts to get really soft like it started to for me, just get it back in the fridge and let it set up again. Try not to touch it. So these have been sitting for 5 minutes, and they're basically just cool enough to touch right now. Just beautiful. This makes a great gift. You can make them and send them to me because I love these cookies, and I'm sure anyone out there can make them as good as I. So the reality is, just make sure that they're in there long enough. These cookies, you can see, they're a couple inches. They're not real big, which is good. If you make them too big, they're not going to cook. And they were really about 12-13 minutes. And that's all based on how well your oven maintains temperature and all those crazy factors, like how accurate is your oven. But they smell absolutely, just bring tears to my eyes. These look so good. We're going to let everything cool down, stack them up. Like I said, I just like putting that little sprinkle of sugar on top. You could use some kind of color, sugar, or something if you want. You know, if you're, but I'm really excited about these cookies because I'm going to show you one. Yeah, they're cool enough to touch. So just what we want. It's just really nice and gooey inside. Not overcooked, nice and crusted on the outside, but the inside is just so, I mean, you can just see that. That's a moist cookie. Let me tell you, hands down, my favorite recipe, the best cookie. Got a nice crunch on the outside, and that flavor is just, there's nothing like it. That, you know, that molasses, ginger. Oh, these are absolutely perfect. So anyway, so I can finish all these off air, I need you all to subscribe. I want everyone to watch this video, tell me their favorite cookie recipe. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you get this. And this is the great way to start off a holiday. Like I always say, get in the kitchen, try something. You can't ruin these. You'll absolutely love these cookies. So do as I say. Bake cookies. Have fun. And we'll see you next time.